welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a look using the new Hocus Pocus 2 collaboration with Colourpop. I have the palette and the highlighter, the shimmering highlighter. That's the only thing that I picked up from the collection. When I picked up the first two collections that came out, I did buy the full collection, but this time I wasn't really interested in anything but the palette and the shimmering powder. I don't really use jelly much eyeshadows, so I knew I wasn't going to get any use out of those. The lip glosses I don't really use, and my daughter has a ton of lip glosses and lip oils and lip balms, so she is not needing any more. So yeah, I just picked up the palette and the shimmering highlighting powder, so that's what we're going to be using today. Before we get started, what I thought I would do real quick is just kind of compare the new palette to the first two palettes that came out. The first one that came out was in 2022, I believe, and that is the Gather Round Sisters palette. I absolutely love the artwork on this palette with the cauldron, the kind of spell book writing. This one is pretty lightweight. It's a 15 pan palette. On the inside of this one, you have the artwork of the three Sanderson sisters on the top, and then the color story on the bottom. This one, as you can see, there are rich purples, you have some greens in here. This green right here, which is called Bewitched, is one of my favorite greens in my collection. This is beautiful, foresty, sagey kind of a green. So pretty. The shimmer right here, which is called Yabos, absolutely gorgeous. This color story overall is just perfect. This is one of my favorite color stories I have in my collection. I think it fits with the Sanderson sisters and Hocus Pocus perfectly. This one came out kind of Halloween last year, and this one is the Witching Hour palette, also a Hocus Pocus collaboration with Colourpop. This one, as you can see, is smaller than the first palette, has a little more weight to it. Unlike the first palette, which has artwork on the inside, this one has a mirror, and then you kind of have a picture of the Sanderson sisters in the corner. And this is what the color story looks like for this one. This one also has a couple of embossings. You have Binks in this shade, and then there's a moon in this shade. There are no embossings in the first palette. As you can see, hold on, let me compare it to the first palette. So as you can see, there are similar shades, but for the most part, this one is a little richer than this one. You have these two shades right here, which we do not see in the first palette, so these two are definitely unique from each other. So basically you're not going to get the same looks when using these two palettes. You can combine them, use them separately, different enough, which is nice. And then we come to the new one. This is the Hocus Pocus 2 collaboration with Colourpop, which did confuse some people because this is technically the third palette, but it's called Hocus Pocus 2 because it is specifically in collaboration with the new Hocus Pocus 2 film that just recently launched on Disney Plus. So yeah, this is what the packaging is looking like for this one. This is the outer carton, so what the palette came in. As you can see, there is a window in the middle, so you're able to see the palette through it, and then you open it and you pull the palette out, and on the inside of the box there are some little drawings. You have bangs, there's a candle holder, there's our spell book. So I'm going to keep this packaging specifically to store the palette in because I do think it is really cute and unique, so we're going to be hanging on to this. This is the artwork for the third palette, very colorful. Definitely different from the first two palettes. This palette is also bigger in size than the first two palettes. You have the Sanderson sisters on the inside of the lid, and then this is what the color story is looking like. You have deep purples, these oranges. This orange is so stinking pretty. This is the newest palette compared to the very first one that came out. Both of these are 15 pan palettes, but as you can see, the pans in this one are bigger than the first palette. This one also has a little more weight to it. The actual palette itself has a little kind of iridescent shine to it. You have the unique oranges in here, which you don't have in the first palette. The purples in here are also a little bit brighter than they are in the first palette. So yeah, these are definitely unique from each other. You can create different looks that won't look the same on the eyelid. And then we have the Witching Hour compared to the newest palette. And as you can see, they're different enough. I mean, you do have like these purples right here, which are similar to each other, but other than that, maybe some of the neutrals, but basically these two palettes have pretty unique color stories, or not too similar to each other, so you can create different looks. So if you decide to pick up all three palettes, you will be able to create different looks that don't look all the same. is basically what I'm trying to say. I grabbed these palettes specifically for collector's reasons because I do love Hocus Pocus and I just think the palettes are really, really pretty. All right, now we're going to jump into putting together our look. I'm going to go ahead and throw on some blush, but the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyelids using my Colourpop Party Proof eyeshadow primer in Caramel. When I last checked, the entire collection was still in stock. I don't think anything from this collection has sold out. The first one, if you guys remember, sold out almost immediately, and people were so mad when they weren't able to get it. It was limited edition, but I think it did end up eventually on Ulta, and they brought it back last year at the same time that they brought this collection. I think the Witching Hour collection may still be available, but I think the first one now is completely gone. I don't think they're bringing it back. While the primer sets down, I'm going to pull up my XX Revolution Kombucha palette, and I'm going to take one of the orange blushes from this palette, this one right here, and I'm going to use that as my blush. I think I'm going to do kind of a purpley green eyeshadow look, and then like orange cheeks and orange lips, and we're going to kind of see how that works together. I have been loving using this Kombucha palette. I pulled it out from a Lash Shop My Stash. I'm going to film my newest one as soon as I'm done filming this look. I posted in my community tab. I had gotten into an accident. The car has been towed to the body shop, so they're looking at it right now and doing the estimates and all that. It's probably going to be at least 2 to 3 weeks before I get my car back, maybe even a month, depending on how backed up they are. Tried to get a rental car, but because we are currently in fall break here, every single enterprise is like empty. They have no rental cars available, and they're saying that it could be Monday before I'm able to get a rental car. So today is Tuesday, so it could be almost a week before I'm able to get one. I may have to borrow my daughter's car for the week until I'm able to pick up a rental car, which sucks, but at least I'm alive. You know, I have good insurance, so, you know, everything is all good. Just love this blush. It's such a beautiful, perfect orange. All right, now for a highlighter, we are going to be using the new Shimmering Face and Body Highlighter. This is called the Find the Book Shimmering Body Powder. This is with Soul. Soul Body is like the sister, the kind of the skincare body sister brand to Colourpop. I don't usually like the highlighters that come in the big pans like this. The cover is like so pretty though. That's Binks on the cover. And this is actually the packaging that the compact came in. So super cute. I will be hanging on to this one. But like I said, I don't usually like the formulas in these big pans. I'm not a fan of the giant pans either. But this one has kind of a unique orange, kind of a green shift to it. And I thought that this might be similar to a highlighter that I currently have that I may have to declutter soon. I've had it for a while and it's getting kind of old. And I thought maybe this one might be able to replace it. That is just so pretty. This is definitely not like an everyday highlighter for me, but for this time of year, for spooky season, putting together like a spooky Halloween theme look that we're going to be putting together today, I think it's going to be perfect. I also find the formula in these compacts to be a little glittery, and that's sometimes why I don't like them. All the ones that I've had before in this packaging I have decluttered. So let's see how well it blends onto the cheeks. This is a Chic highlighter brush. I got this from Five Below. Oh, that is pretty. Oh, yes. This might actually do pretty well for replacing that other highlighter. Very, very pretty. It's not like as smooth as I would like, but it's very wet looking. And that green shift is just gorgeous. I'm going to take my sponge and just kind of tap it so it blends in just a little bit better, and I don't have like a giant green streak on my cheeks, but that is a beautiful highlighter. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Cursed. Beautiful, bright green. It is one of those sequin mattes that I'm not a huge fan of. The sequin mattes have like little micro glitters like mixed into the matte. Once you start blending it, those glitters tend to blend away. But yeah, that's not my favorite formula, but we're going to use this one, and then we're going to go in to Observe, which has like a little eye embossed in there, really cute. And I'm going to take this one on the outer corner, and then we're just going to like lay this green all over the lid, and that might be the entire look. But yeah, let's start off with Cursed, and then we will go from there. I'm going to use Blend Bunny number 4. It's kind of a fluffy detailed brush and dip into it, tap off the excess, and then just start blending. That is so pretty. It's just like a limey green. It's not like super pigmented like right off the bat. It's one of those you're definitely going to have to kind of build to really get that pigment, but it is pretty. This shade is definitely got a lot of fallout going on. We're just going to blend that right to the inner part of the eye very, very softly. And I'm going to take this little smaller, more detailed brush from Beauty Bay, and then we are going to dip into Observe and lay that on the outer part of the eye. And I'm just going to blend that into the outer corner. Such a pretty purple. A lot of times it can be really hard to formulate, and so they can end up kind of patchy and not really blending out very well, but this shade is actually blending really well. I'm not really having any issues with it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but when I looked online, the entire collection was still in stock. And this palette launched, this collection launched like a week ago, something like that. And still everything is in stock, which you know is usually unheard of for like a Hocus Pocus themed collection, but I think people are just starting to get like Hocus Pocus, you know, themed out. The excitement that they had like with the first palette, they're just not having, you know, with this palette. It's just not the same. Not to mention they had just launched that Harry Potter collection like a week before. It's one thing about Colourpop that they do have an issue with is that they launch these big collections back to back to back, and it's like, who has money to buy every single thing that they launch? I wasn't going to buy the Harry Potter collection anyway because, you know, issues, J.K. Rowling, anti-trans, we just don't support that. I'm not having any issues either with like the green and the purple like getting muddy, being blended there. It's coming out really, really nicely. I'm going to go in with this flat shader brush from Doe Color, and we are going to go into Brew Another Batch, which is this beautiful sparkly green in the middle, and we're just going to lay that all over our lid. I might lay something down on the inner corner, and then something kind of down on the lash line, maybe the purple in the lower lash line. But other than that, that is going to be it for this look. Oh, that is such a pretty shade. I'm filming with a cracked phone screen. When the tow truck driver was giving me trouble with my car, he put my car on the tow truck and then didn't say anything to me about where he was taking my car or what was happening. Just drove off with him. My daughter had to like chase him down, and we caught him at a light and was like tapping on his window. I'm like, dude, where are you taking my car? And he goes, he's taking it to his shop. We like met in a gas station so he could explain to me what was going on. And I said, can you just take my car to the house? And he said, well, it'll be like $300 cash for me to do that. I said, well, can you just take it off of your tow truck and I just put my spare on it so I can drive it home? And he tells me that it'd be $200 just to touch the car, period. Now, mind you, I don't have any cash in me. So I'm like, okay, well, let me just send my daughter to the bank, which is literally 2 minutes up the street. And he goes, I can't wait. I need the money right now. I can't wait. And at this point, I am so angry. I am so upset. I mean, you just put my car on your truck and you did not give me any information as to what you were doing. And then you were going to tell me that I need cash money to get my car out. I mean, it was ridiculous. Okay, first of all, I didn't call this tow truck. I didn't tell him to tow my car. It was just crazy. But during that process, I dropped my phone and I cracked the screen. So yeah, not happy about that. So I'm looking to get my screen replaced because I really like my phone. I don't want to have to buy a new phone. So we're going to look to see what it will cost to get the screen replaced. Oh, I am really liking the way this look is coming out. I'm going to take this pointed brush from Aloe, and I'm going to go back into Observe, that deeper purple, and lay that along the lower lash line, like really, really close. Let's see if my camera's going to blow out. For the inner corner, I'm going to take 17th Century, and I'm going to apply that with the B3 Blend Bunny brush, which is the smallest. I'm just going to apply that to the inner corner, and then I think that's going to be it for our shadows. So pretty. The formula in this palette was really, really nice. Like, this look came together very, very quickly. This one has like a little bit of an iridescent green shift to it. Very pretty. I'm going to take a glow from Colourpop and throw that in my waterline. This was from that Lush Life collaboration collection that they did a while ago. That may have been last summer that collaboration came out. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to do a quick wing using the Artista liner from Aloe Studios. This is $1. I get this from Shop Miss A. It is one of my absolute favorite liners. Has a very flexible felt tip that works like a brush, and oh my god, it just works so nicely to give you a really, really quick wing. You see how quickly it's filling in the lash line. Next to my Epic Ink liner from NYX, this one is my favorite. I'm going to line my lips using one of the Wonder Lip pencils from AOA Studio. This shade is in Famous. It's just a really pretty warm toasty orange. I'm going to fill in my lips using the Lunar Beauty liquid lipstick in Hallows Eve. It's a very pretty just pumpkin pie orange. He launched with his collection, his Halloween collection last year. He didn't release the Halloween collection this year, I noticed. I was kind of hoping that he would, but I did not see a new Halloween release from Manny this year. Just threw on my lashes from Ione. These are the Natural Cateye Lights, and I am really loving the way this look came together. It's so pretty. It's exactly what I was hoping to achieve. The green and the purple and then the orange cheeks and the orange lips, and I just think everything came out so pretty. This palette is gorgeous. The formula was beautiful. Every single shade blended beautifully. Even the deeper purple, it blended out perfectly. I didn't have any patchiness. I absolutely love this palette. Like I said, last I checked, everything was still in stock, so if you were wanting to pick up this palette, should still be available. That is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed watching it, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help my channel with getting into recommendations. Really working hard to kind of, to grow and just build over here in my little corner of the beauty world. If you're new to my channel and you are not already subscribed, please consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe, and make sure you tap the notification bell so you can notify of any videos coming up in the future. This way you will not miss any content that I have coming in the future. You can also follow me on my other socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.